maturity in these youngsters, Brian, as we come down to game number 9. And they've had a lot of varsity experience this year, and hopefully it will catapult them into a successful off-season and then coming back very strong next year.
Jeff, Vikings 2-6 tonight, facing 2-6 Shady Spring on senior night. This feels like a game the Vikings have an opportunity to grab.
Yeah, it sure does. Shady Springs, they've struggled this year also, and they lost some key players from last year's squad, not some to injury, and others just want to work on other sports, and they chose, especially when you look at the quarterback position. Now, they've got a good quarterback in there tonight, and he's a big fella out there that moves pretty good. But they've lost some of their strength, especially at the skill positions. Their best wide receiver goes out with an ACL injury, so they've struggled too. They've had their hardships. I'm sure they come in here tonight looking at the Vikings, watching some film, looking at the schedule, and saying, we got a chance to get one here tonight on the road, boys. Let's see what we can do. And the Vikings have got to guard against that.
Tonight, third matchup between the Vikings and the Tigers. So far, home teams have held serve in the series. The Vikings winning by 3 touchdowns here in 2020. Tigers winning by 2 touchdowns down there last year. Let's hope that trend continues tonight.
Yeah, we could use a win here at home. It's senior night as the seniors from all sports and band included and others introduced here tonight. A lot of fanfare festivity and a win at home always feels good, especially when you have those Point Pleasant Big Blacks rolling in here next week.
Jeff, this Viking defense will be tasked, as you mentioned a moment ago, to slow down this dynamic quarterback. Brady Green stands at 6'4", 235 pounds. Strong arm, physical running style. This front seven will be tested tonight.
Yeah, they do that, and Brian also watched in warm-ups. He can stand, and he's tall in the pocket, and he's more of a pro-style quarterback, but he can wing it out there too. So they've lost some receivers, which has kind of calmed down the game plan as far as an air attack, but they will grind it out, and he's a big body, and he can run quarterback sneaks for 3 or 4 times, and he's long enough to stretch out to get a first down.
All right, let's go down to the sideline, check in with sideline reporter Phil Iman for tonight's Hall's Tires Sideline Report. Phil, good to be home.
Coming tonight than it felt like homecoming a couple weeks ago. There's a good crowd tonight. We just had senior night finish up out here. The team is running onto the field right now, carrying their flags that they always carry. The student section has their pink out going. Looking forward to a great game tonight.
No bus trip tonight, Phil, and more relaxed afternoon since school let out. Hopefully the Vikings can play with a little more pep in their step here to begin the ballgame.
Yeah, and I think is have to get off to a better. Let's talk opening fumble last how things we just couldn't really get off the ground or couldn't really get things moving after the long bus trip. But you know what? Tonight we're playing somebody that took a very similar bus trip up here. But we're also talking about 2 teams that have both at this date on the schedule because both of these squads think they can come out here and get a win tonight. So to see who wants it.
Phil, we celebrate 9 seniors here tonight that are the feeling on the field down there at pregame. What effect do you think, if any, that senior night will have on the outcome of tonight's game?
Well, everybody wants to win their senior night. I think that I think that being able to come home after a long stretch on the road is really going to get this team fired up. And you're out here playing for your family. You've got all your family here, not just the ones who usually come. You may have aunts, uncles, grandmas, grandpas, people in from out of town. So there's going to be a lot of support for all of these seniors in the stands tonight.
All right, Phil, thank you. We'll check back in with you here shortly as the Hall's Tires Sideline Report. We appreciate Phil doing that all season long for us. The Vikings have won the toss and have elected to defer. Jeff, I ask you pregame every week, but I'm going to ask you again, how do the Vikings get it done tonight?
Well, the system hasn't changed, Brian. You've got to take care of the football. You can't lose the turnover battle. And, you also cannot make those drive-killing mistakes. The illegal procedure penalties, the illegal motion, a holding penalty, they will stop a drive dead in its tracks, and we've seen that on both sides thus far this year. And the kicking game, you've got to win the kicking game. Virgil Myers will be handling the punting duties tonight for the Vikings. You've got to win those, and you got to be careful. You know, as you stated earlier, we fumbled the opening kickoff. How devastating was that early in the ball game? You still had plenty of time to rebound, but you come out all fired up and something like that happens, it's just a downer. So you got to do that. Tonight, do you need to play a perfect game to win? No, but you got to play a pretty good one. So let's see just what happens here with the blue and white tonight.
So Mason Gandy will kick it off for the Vikings from left to right. Kickoff, short kickoff, fielded at the 30, up across the 35, out to the 40, and Cameron Good in there on the stop. They're going to have great field position here, Jeff.
Short kick, you wondered what the upback was going to do with it after he fielded. He didn't hesitate, Brian. He ran right into a wall of blue, but he knew he could get up beyond the 40-yard line, and that's exactly what he did, up to the 43. And that's where the Tigers will have their first possession of the game. Viking defense out there on the field and ready to go.
Offense on the field for the Tigers. It'll be Brady Green in the gun. Hands it off, first man through, and he's going to be stacked up right at the line of scrimmage. Pretty nice play there by that Viking front. That's Sellards, the ball carrier. He gets maybe back to the line of scrimmage.
Moore, Brown, and others in there for the Vikings. The linebackers, Brian, were just coming. They were in the backfield almost at the same time he got that handoff. If he was able to elude them, it looked like he had a little running room, but good job of penetrating and bringing him down at the line of scrimmage.
Colin Moore on the stop. Green in the pistol. Sellards to his left. Two receivers either side. Football on the near hash, moving right to left. Sellards gets the call again. Runs right into that Viking front, maybe a yard. Initial contact was Colin Moore and Hunter Brown coming in to finish him off.
Good job again by the Viking defense getting penetration. That Tiger offensive line looked pretty porous the first two plays for Shady Spring.
So 3rd and 9 for the Tigers, excuse me. Can the Vikings get off the field? Three receivers to Green's right. Pressure coming, and the Vikings into the backfield. 3-5. On 3rd and 9, that changes the complexion of things, Jeff.
It sure does, partner. And we talked about it in the pregame just a few minutes ago. We talked about the mistakes when you have the ball on the offensive side of the field, and you don't want those illegal procedure penalties, holding penalties. But there we jump off sides. They have nothing going on offense, and you give them 5 yards. Biggest gain of the night for Shady.
3rd and 4 now for Green. Same formation. Football on the left hash, moving right to left. No score, early going. And I think they're going to give him 5 back as a procedure penalty, Jeff. And they'll move it back to 3rd and 9 again. So.
You know, Brian, we talked to the radio crew pregame a little bit. They were saying that Shady, between the injuries and those that aren't playing this year, they were struggling a little bit this year. And that's very obvious as they come out on this first drive. The Vikings have done nothing really spectacular other than they've put in a blitz package that's given them problems, and now they give the 5 yards right back to the blue and white.
Green takes the snap, another penalty flag, and they're going to back up 5 more. So 1 step forward, 2 steps back here, Jeff, if you are Shady.
Yeah, and I think, Brian, especially on that play, the center just didn't snap the ball timely. Didn't get it back there. Multiple Shady players moving on that, anticipating the count, the wide receivers, a couple of linemen. So it just looked like a very slow snap back to the quarterback.
So 3rd and 14 now. Green in the gun, 3 receivers to his right, time to throw, steps up in the pocket, floats it up the far sideline. He's got a man, caught, first down, and ran out of bounds at the 38-yard line by Noah Casto.
And I said before the game, Brian, no flash or flare. He just steps back in the pocket in that pro-style delivery. He threw that ball down the field, hit his receiver right in the hands for the first down, and Shady now has something going on.
That was Locklear on the catch. 1st and 10 in Viking territory. Green actually direct snap to that Sellers. Their numbers are really hard to see, Jeff.
Sure are. Look a little bit like the gold of UCLA out there, but with the gold numbers on those white jerseys. They don't have, they're not very visual up here, even with the binoculars.
That was quarterback. Very, very difficult to see, as you said. So a gain, no gain, actually. Getting in the gun again. And this is a wildcat run to the right side. A lot of running room, hit hard. Up across the 30 or down to the 27. That's Richmond, the ball carrier.
You 6'4", 2 something, Brian. But somebody laid a lick on him as he came up the field. It was just catching the Vikings in that linebacker blitz. That was the option. And the quarterback gets to the edge and does a good job of picking up the first down. But, boy, what a hit he took at the end of that play.
That was Tyson Pritt coming in there to finish the play off.
The youngsters, you talked about some of the youngsters getting playing time. Pritt's getting some playing time at that defensive back position.
So Green back in at quarterback. Give us the Sellards right up the middle, and he's going to run into a wall of Vikings. He'll pick up maybe 2 yards. Hunter Brown appeared to be in there on the first contact along with Carter Hall.
Hall was in on that stop, had a fun night last night. He got to personally get up close and personal with quarterback legend Terry Bradshaw, the Pittsburgh Steelers, as he was in town last night for the foundation dinner, and Carter was able to spend some time with a Hall of Famer.
Folks, hang with us on the technical difficulties. We got Nick up here helping us from Mountaintop Media, so he's bailing us out, but sorry for all the background noise. Pass is complete and down near the 10-yard line. Little screen pass, it looked like, Jeff. It was Davis, the intended receiver.
Yeah, he came out of the pocket that time, Brian, and on the move, he delivered a strike to the receiver coming across the middle, hit him right in stride. He was able to get beyond the yards needed for the first down. So 1st and 10 at the 11, the Tigers will have an opportunity to get down inside the 5-yard line and still have a possible first down opportunity.
Green in the gun, 2 receivers either side, gives to Sellards, runs through 1 Viking tackler down to the 5-yard line, lays some punishment. Flutie will be credited for the tackle.
The quarterback threat of running, Brian, loosened it up that time. Sellers came off the left side, found running room, got low, and continued to push forward for about a 6-yard gain.
So 2nd and 4 from the 5. They can get the first down. Green in the gun, running backs to either side. He's going to keep it. Noah Casto comes in there, blitzing off of the left side of that Viking defense. He stops him for a yard gain. Jeff, that's a touchdown if Noah doesn't make that play.
Sure is. Noah came off there like a missile. Green a little slow, waiting on the blockers in front of him, the 2 running backs, to make a path for him. But Noah came in behind that time. Casto makes the stop. Big play.
Green in the gun. Sellards to his left. 2 receivers either side. He's going to throw into the flat. Caught. Stretching that left arm for the touchdown, and they're going to say he was down at the 1, but that is enough yardage for the first down. That's Richmond on the catch.
Good pitch and catch that time by Shady Spring, as just a little outcut the defensive back, giving a little too much room that time, Brian, and he make the catch, but he came up, made a good stop, keeping him out of the end zone, but the nose of the football just outside the goal line.
1st and goal at the 1. Green gets under center. You imagine he's probably going to keep it. He does. Pushes forward, and he's into the end zone for the Tiger touchdown. So pretty good drive there for the Tigers to begin the ball game as they jump on top 6-0.
Vikings deferring on the coin toss electing to kick off, and Shady brings it right down the field. Started in good field position at about the 43, Brian, and they could just made key plays on the drive, the pass receptions for first downs, and just kept it alive until they got it in the end zone. 6-0, 5:53 to go in the first period.
Colton Henderson, the extra point attempt. Snap back, placement down, and it's through. 7-0. Shady leads it. We'll step out. More Viking football after this on C98, The Bull.
On the return. Brought down by Galen Bailey.
High school. Henderson's kickoff fielded by Noah Casto. He takes it up across the 40 out to the 42. Good starting field position, Jeff, here for the Vikings.
Sure is. Let's see if the Vikings get something going here. On the offensive side of the ball, Shady Spring, first opportunity on the defensive.
Virgil Myers under center for the Vikings. His third start here this year. They'll change the play at the line of scrimmage. He has Hunter Brown to his right, two receivers either side. Designed run for Virgil, looking for room near side. Puts a stiff arm on one defender, and he'll carry it out to the 44, a gain of 2. Athleticism, the only reason we got 2 there, Jeff. There was not much there for Virgil.
No, Shady came up pretty quick, and Brian, from that shotgun formation, it looks like he's getting a lot more yardage than he really is. He only picks up a couple there. Probably ran 12 yards to get that 2-yard gain.
Vikings go no huddle. Myers in the gun again. Changing the play at the line. 8 seconds on the clock. Cody Lawrence in the backfield. Snap back. Give to Lawrence. He fumbles the football. Unable to get back on it. Now he dives on it back at the 38. So a big loss, but would have been an absolute nightmare had he not been able to recover that football. That would have been really bad for this Viking team right now.
Little trouble on that exchange. I don't think they were meshing together very well. Looked like the back maybe wanted to go inside. Virgil thought he might be going outside, and just didn't make a good connection there. So 3rd down and long for the Vikings.
So Vikings in that 3rd and long spot they don't want to be in, and Virgil's going to throw it, looking to set up a screen. Got it. Oh, in and out of the hands of Hunter Brown. And Jeff, he had a lot of running room down this near sideline, and they've been able to connect.
Yep. At the end of the play, Brian, it looked like they had it defended, but that was a defender that got there late after the ball had already bounced a couple, 3 times. If Brown brings that thing in clean, he may be still running for the Vikings down that sideline.
It was a little behind him. Tried to reach back, make the catch. Couldn't come up with it. Vikings will go 3 and out. Punt on their first opportunity. Virgil. It's going to take a big Viking hop at the 30, and it's going to be down by Jenkins at the 29. So a punt of 34 yards with no return.
Didn't get it out of there very cleanly as the snap was off just a wee bit. Virgil did corral it and get the kickoff. Bounds down inside the 30 at the 29. And that's where Shady Spring will start their second drive of the night. They lead the Vikings 7-0, 4:17 to go here in the first period of play.
Green in the pistol, looking to throw, has time. all kinds of time. Throws across the center of that Viking defense and overshoots his intended receiver. Ball's incomplete. Second down and 10.
Green, as you said, had plenty of time, Brian. And could you see how he kept his feet moving back there in the pocket? The youngster shows a lot of poise back there. Nobody was open. He just threw it in an area where neither team could get to it. Lived to play second down.
Trying to manipulate the defense with that shoulder movement as well, Jeff. As back in the Wildcat now, it's Richmond. Sellards to his right. Design run right side. Richmond looking for room across the 30, up across the 35. Upended by Virgil Myers as he dives out to the 38-yard line. He'll be just shy of that yard to gain.
And Richmond is no small task either. He's long and lean out there, and once he gets on the edge, he can pick up yardage with those very long strides. Gain of 9 on that play, Brian. So big third down here for the Viking defense.
3rd and 1. Green flanked either side by a tailback in the gun. He'll keep it. Designed run right side, puts his shoulder down across the 40, and they're going to mark him down to the 42. Gain of 4. There's not much you can do with that big fella, Jeff, when he gets in behind those linemen.
No, and it's first down, Tigers, as he makes the yards to gain as substitutions in the ball game, as Noah Casto will come back in for the Vikings.
Hunter Brown credited with the stop, so a new fresh set of downs for the Tigers. Check in with Phil here in a moment. Green, snap, back to throw. Rolling near side now. Nice touch pass over the Viking defense. I believe that's Richmond, as the Viking secondary started to come to the line of scrimmage when he put the football in his right arm, and he just, at the last second, Jeff, pulled it out of there and dropped a beautiful little dime over top the Viking linebacker for a first down.
And could you tell, Brian, how he directed Richmond down into that hole and then just threw it right where only Richmond could catch it? He took a hit at the end of the play, but not until after he makes first down yardage.
3 minutes to go, first quarter, 7-0 Tigers. Designed run again, Richmond left side. Picks his spot, puts his shoulder down, and powers down near the yard to gain. Tyson Pritt on the stop. He'll be just shy of the 30-yard line.
And right now, Brian, the Tigers of Shady Spring are just outnumbering the Vikings as they run that quarterback with blockers in front of him, that big offensive line out in front of him. It's almost like a student body left with the quarterback carrying the ball.
2:25 to go. First quarter, 7-0. Tigers on the march. Here's Green looking to throw. He's got the wheel route up the far sideline. Throws it behind him, Jeff, to his back shoulder. And the Vikings are going to be penalized for pass interference, and I'm not sure I agree with that call. That was a tough call on Noah Casto, who's going to be whistled for the pass interference. The ball was not thrown well. Both guys going for the football, falling out of bounds, and they throw a pass interference penalty, you would assume.
They had the wheel route early. He threw it out there trying to go deep, threw it to the back shoulder. The receiver made an attempt to get there. He couldn't bring it in, and it didn't look like very little contact, and that's, as you said, Brian, a tough call for Casto and the Vikings.
All right, while we have a moment, there's a timeout on the field. Let's go down to the sideline. Hall's Tires sideline report, Phil.
Bring around, they seem to distinct set of for each one of their quarterbacks. No confusion with the signal calling, and I guess it's working out for a very key.
Well, Phil, we lost you there, buddy. I'm not sure what's going on. Having all kinds of technical difficulties here this evening. Sorry about that. We'll get back with you here in just a moment as they mark off the pass interference penalty on the Vikings. That'll be 1st and 10 at the 16 for the Tigers. Looks like Richmond in the Wildcat again. Design run, right side, looking for room. looking to turn the corner, and a beautiful play out there on the edge to keep him from turning the corner. That's Parker Boyd, Jeff. He played it beautifully.
He sure did. He was locked up with the receiver out there, and Richmond decided to kick that thing out toward the sideline, and Parker fought off the block and was able to bring him down after a short game. Brian, that looked like it was going to be a big play, and Boyd shut it down quickly.
Green back in there. 3 receivers to the short side of the field. Ball on the right hash. Looking to throw. He's going to roll to his left, and he's going to be brought down. Hunter Brown behind the line of scrimmage. And, Jeff, that's no easy task to bring that big fella down, and that's stopped back at the 16-yard line.
So the Tigers will have 3rd and long, 3rd and 10. They can make the first down without getting it into the end zone. But, Brian, what a big play. 2 big plays in a row for the Vikings, pushing the Tigers back.
3rd and 10. Green in the gun. Sellards to his left. 3 receivers to his right. Drops back, looking to throw. Steps up in the pocket. He's going to throw it in the flat. Fight for it at the marker. Vikings say they have it. And Noah Casto, and Richmond pop off the ground. Richmond has possession. There's a penalty flag down.
Dual possession would go to the
illegal shift will be the call on. But yes, dual possession goes to the offense, right,
yes,
Joe?
And big penalty there for the Vikings as that ball will come out of there. They had first down yardage. They're going to move it back to about the 21 now, Brian. So 3rd and even longer.
3rd and 15 now. You'd imagine probably 4-down territory, Jeff, but it has been all Shady here in the first quarter. They've had the football the entire quarter with the exception of about a minute and a half of game time. So Green in the gun, Sellards to his left, 3 receivers to his right. Penalty flag flies pre-snap, and it's going to be procedure, 3rd and 20.
The Vikings were coming on a all-out blitz, it looked like, Brian, as they were creeping up, and when they started creeping, some linemen started creeping also for Shady, and they want a timeout. I don't know what play you got in the book for 3rd and 15 or 20, Brian, but they're going to try to find one.
Shady takes a timeout. Let's keep it here. Phil, let's try you one more time, my friend.
Is this better?
Much better. Gotcha.
Yeah, we were talking. He has a very specific. Growing up, Brian, they always said if you have 2 quarterbacks, I guess if there's no communication issue, no snap, in and out like that, pretty good. But the other thing, this has been a pretty quick quarter. It feels like we just kept second is going. Every position is going to matter. All those tires. Want to see the next county since 1977.
All right, Phil, thank you. As we will resume play here in just a moment. 3rd down and 20. Ball at the Viking 26-yard line.
30 seconds to go here, Brian, and you said it a minute ago. The Viking offense has only been out there for a very short time.
Green, he's going to throw it. He's got man-on-man coverage near side, caught, touchdown. Too easy. 3rd, and he's going to get penalized for
spinning the ball,
doing the dance down there. He doesn't seem too concerned about it, but that is a penalty, Jeff. That's Brian Locklear on the touchdown, and it'll be a dead ball penalty after. But 3rd and 20, got to get in that shell defensively, Jeff, and force them to make plays.
He ran a tremendous route that time, Brian, and Green put it right on the spot as he made the little double move down there, got behind the defense, and was able to catch it, take it into that blue Ripley end zone. They're going to be penalized for the extracurricular afterwards, a little celebration.
Not that anyone cares, but let me give you a kicker's perspective on that. You're not pleased when your teammate gets you a 15-yard penalty on an extra point because it turns into a 35-yard field goal at that point. And they're going to go for it.
Wow.
So, Jeff, that could matter
Yeah,
late
let's
in this
hope it
ballgame.
does.
If the Vikings can sustain anything offensively. Green, time to throw. Out into the flat. It's caught at about the 11. He's got to make guys miss. Vikings everywhere. Noah Casto coming in there to finish him off. So the two-point conversion fails, and the Vikings hold, trailing 13-0 here.
Another
penalty flag.
So, was that the same receiver? I can't tell the numbers so far.
That was Jalen Bailey on the catch.
Okay. He wasn't able to do any dancing after that one. I was just wondering.
No dancing. Holding on the Vikings.
Give it right
Goodness.
back.
So penalty flag will give them another opportunity.
Wow. Now let's see if they bring the kicking team on.
Not only is C98 having problems technically, so are the Vikings here all of a sudden with the penalty flags. So they'll kick it now. That will be Henderson. It will basically be a 26-yard field goal. Snap back, placed down. Virgil blocks it. You can't take that long with 14 coming off the edge. Football is blocked, and the Vikings cling to a 13, trail 13-0 here. And again, that could matter, Jeff.
Yeah, it sure could, Brian. You know, the last point after the Vikings almost got there is Virgil and Noah Casto were coming off opposite edges, and I think they were afraid they were going to collide in midair. This time, Casto holds back a little bit on his rush, and Virgil gets there to make the block. So, you know, you chase those points, Brian, and hopefully the Viking offense can get something going, get on the scoreboard, and get their extra points. As you said, could be a key factor in this game late. Let's hope it is anyway.
Vikings have 3 plays for -5 yards in 1 minute and 39 seconds of time of possession in this first quarter. And they'll get an opportunity with 25.2 to go here in the quarter. Trailing 13-0. Henderson's kickoff sails into the arms of Jenkins at the 16. Runs up across the 30, 35, puts a shoulder down. Bowls out to the 40. Good kickoff return there by Jenkins.
So the Vikings will have the ball once again, trailing 13-0. 19 seconds to go here in the first period of play. They're going to have the ball at the 40-yard line. Good field position to start this drive.
So play number 4 of the first quarter with 19 seconds to go. Virgil gives it to D'Amico, left side, turns it upfield 40, and he'll be brought down at the 45. Good gainer there on first down, and Jeff, that will probably be the final play here of the first quarter. Clock turning.
D'Amico does a good job, Brian, of getting on the edge with that speed and quickness. Turns it up, gets all he can get out of it. About a 4 or 5 yard gain for the Vikings, and you called it. That'll do it for the first period of play.
13-0 Vikings trail. We'll step out second quarter after this right here on C98, The Bull. Best you can. Still good.
Brown on the carry. Gain of 4 on the play. Tackle made.
Brown gets the carry. Gain of 4. It'll be 3rd and short here, Jeff.
Yeah, Vikings got a little something going here. Let's see if we can get the first down yardage. Keep this drive going. 11:37 to go on a running clock. Vikings trail 13-0 here in the second period of play.
Myers in the gun. Hands it off to Brown. He's got the first down across midfield. Runs into Sellers at the Tiger 48-yard line. Viking first down of the night. First down of the night, I should say.
Brown running up in there very hard, partner, getting that first down yardage and continuing this drive. And looks to me like right now a steady diet of Hunter Brown might work pretty good for the Vikings.
They don't huddle, Jeff, but they're not in a big hurry as they try to limit the substitutions with this offensive attack. As Hunter Brown gets the call, he's got running room, Jeff, into the secondary across the 40 down to the 35. And they're going to mark him down at the 33-yard line.
Took a hit at the end of that play, but he bounces up. And as I said just a few seconds ago, nothing wrong with running that till they can figure out how to stop it as he gets first down yardage once again as the Vikings move toward the Shady Spring end zone.
Gain of 15. Green on the stop. Myers fumbles the snap, hands it off to Brown. He gets to the 30, Jeff, and that was really, really close to a disaster. Good job by Virgil and Hunter to be able to corral that football enough to get to the 30-yard line. They got 3 somehow.
Good job by that offensive line. Also, Brian, they were pushing Shady backwards, and that allowed them not to penetrate and get to that bobbled snap.
Brown shifts over to Virgil's right. Brown gets the call again. Left side, turns it upfield, dives out to the 25. Gain of 5 on 2nd and 7. Hunter a little slow to get up, but he pops out of there. Penalty flag laying down. Penalty flag laying at the 28, and you guessed it, holding Vikings.
The Tigers had that sniffed out and had a guy there. Brown did a good job of making him miss, Brian, and turning it upfield for positive yardage. But there's the old nemesis of holding, moving you back. Going to make it second down and long.
Make it second down and 17 at the 38. Play clock at 5. Myers in the gun. Snap back. Designed run for Virgil left side, and he's going to be brought down after about a yard. What looked like more running room there to begin with. Richie closed that one down quickly.
He sure did, and Richie had one opportunity. That was lay out and try to get a hold of Virgil, and that's just what he did. The sideline hampered Virgil a little bit because he couldn't stretch away from Richie, and he was brought down.
3rd and 14. Myers looking to throw, rolling to his right, throws it to Boyd, and he tries to run with it before he pulls it in, and it'll bring up 4th down and 14 now.
So, big play here for the Vikings. Let's see what they do. It looks like the offense is staying out there on the field with the ball at the 37-yard line.
Remember, your punter's playing quarterback, Jeff, so you could always quick kick it as well. They don't have a returner back there, so it wouldn't be a bad spot for that. Look like they're going to go for it. 3 receivers to Virgil's right. He is going to go for it. Going to throw. Floats it down the middle of the field. Triple coverage. And Boyd made a great effort, Jeff, to go up for that one. Looked like he was going up for a rebound in basketball.
Yeah, he was going to high point it. He did the right thing. He was going to high point it, and he was up above all the other defenders, it looked like, Brian, and made a valiant effort there, but just too many white jerseys around him to knock that ball loose. Vikings rolled the dice, but I think it was a good play call because, even if they intercept it, it's good as a punt.
Yep. Knocked it down, so they'll have great field position at their own 37. Green in the gun, low snap. Time to throw. Near side. In and out of the hands of Bailey. Takes a shot from Jenkins. They're looking to go vertical here tonight in that passing game, Jeff, as
They sure are.
luckily that ball was a little bit overthrown. That would have been a big gain.
And I tell you what, he's doing what a lot of quarterbacks don't. He's waiting for that receiver to get in that hole, and he's delivering it. That one was a little high, but it was catchable. It went right through his hands. So he does a good job of throwing his receiver open.
Richmond in the Wildcat. Snap back, running left, looking for room, weaving through the Viking defense until Tyson Pritt brings him to the turf after a gain of 3.
Vikings did a good job of turning him back upfield. And as you said, Pritt was right there. And that young man will come up and put a hit on you. I like the way he comes up and finishes plays.
Not afraid of contact, that's for sure, and you've seen that out of a lot of these young Vikings. So it'll be 3rd and 7 now, 8:34 to go in the first half. 13-0. Tigers lead it. Low snap and a motion penalty.
Receiver on the far side left early. The Viking defense moved, but it wasn't until after the receiver was a couple of yards up the field. They're going to walk Shady Spring back 5 yards.
Probably, Jeff, you're seeing why they're 2 and 6. They make a lot of pre-snap penalties. They have some talent down there on the field. They have a lot of receivers and skill players, and they got a quarterback that can flat out sling it. Penalties have killed them. They could easily be up by 4 touchdowns here.
Vikings with 11 in the block.
A delayed draw, and luckily for the Vikings, Sellers can't keep his footing, and he falls down back at the 31-yard line. And that is Bradley Anderson's going to be credited with the stop. Loss of 4.
It's a good job, and you said it, because they were coming. We had 11 in the box within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage, and they run that draw play. If he keeps his feet, he might still be running.
Henderson set to punt it. Virgil deep to return. Wobbly punt, fielded by Jenkins at the 45, across the 50, down to the 45, and stretching down to the 42. Good punt return by Jenkins.
Slow snap back. They got the punt off. The line didn't get down the field, and Jenkins made him pay. As you said, Brian, he fielded that thing, caught it with his hands at full stride, and up the field he went, across the 50-yard line, down to the 42-yard line. That's where the Vikings will start in Shady territory.
It's an 18-yard return. So with 7:26 to go here in the first half. Touchdown would sure make the Vikings feel a lot better about this first half, as Hunter Brown will pick up a couple of yards.
Yeah, this drive's important. They got great field position to start it. They need to go down the field and get some points on the board, as you said, Brian. 7:11 to go. Here in the second period, Vikings trail 13-0 to Shady Spring.
2nd down and 7. Myers in the gun. Brown to his left. Give is to Brown again, right side. Hitting hard off the right side of that offensive line. He'll be to 36, a gain of 3. It'll bring up 3rd down and about 4.
Tough yards there for Brown. He looked like a pinball. He fires up into that line. He gets hit. He keeps driving. He gets hit again. He keeps driving. He gets hit again. They finally bring him down.
3rd and 4. Myers gives it to Brown again. He's going to have first down yardage, Jeff, it appears. He's going to be really close at the 37.
Yeah, let's see if it was a left foot or a right foot spot. Looks like a
32-yard line.
Yeah, it was a left foot spot, which got him beyond the line needed to make, and Brown's going to come out along with Jenkins, take a little blow here as the Vikings switch it up a little bit.
Vikings go full house backfield, 2 tight ends. Give is to D'Amico into the secondary, down across the 25. He is so hard to find, Jeff, when he gets in behind those pulling guards.
Yeah, and he's got really good vision, Brian. He kept that back against the grain a little bit. It didn't give them a good angle. He gets first down yardage. Moving the change are the Vikings. 6:03 to go on a running clock here in the second period of play, and the Vikings are on the move.
He's very decisive, Jeff. That's what I like about his running style. He puts his foot in the ground and gets north and south. And they're going to pitch it to him right side, looking for room. Tries to shake off one tackler, but he'll get back to the line of scrimmage. Pretty good pursuit there by the Tiger defense.
It sure was. They strung that thing out pretty good and didn't give D'Amico a chance to cut it back, which is his specialty, Brian. So they stop him basically at the line of scrimmage, so no gain there for the Vikings.
So it'll be 2nd and 10, ball on the right hash, moving right to left. Vikings, their home blue uniforms, white pants. Ball's on the turf, bounces right into the hands of D'Amico. Boy, that was a break. Out to the 21-yard line.
Yeah,
Gain of
D'Amico
1 on the fumble.
Took a shot, Brian, after fielding that ball and getting it up. And there's some Viking that are a little dinged after that play. D'Amico kind of hobbles off here. Nope, going to put him back in.
One thing about Aiden D'Amico, Jeff, he is tough. He is tougher than nails. 3rd and 9. Vikings go single receiver either side. Into the gun now. Here's the snap. Looking to throw. Near side. Ball floats out there, and it was knocked out. Pretty good defense by the Bailey. It was intended for Simon.
Yeah, just a little, as you said, too much air underneath that throw, and it gave Bailey a chance to adjust and swat that ball away. Big play here now for the Vikings. Let's see what they draw at.
4th and 9. Jeff, they've had really good success with that wheel route out of the backfield. They had a big play called back last week. They had a couple of touchdowns at St. Albans, and you have seen the Tigers do that to the Vikings here a couple of times tonight. And they're probably going to have to burn a timeout as play clock down to 3 seconds, and they do on 4th and 9. Let's try Phil one more time. Hall's Tires sideline report. Phil, this is a big conversion here for the Vikings.
Yeah, you can almost feel a little bit of urgency on the Viking sideline. You know, they know how hard it was for the Viking defense to stop Shady Springs last time the defense was out. But you almost feel like if we don't score here, we're going to be going uphill a little bit second half. I mean, we did the first, so a score here would get us going in the second half. Maybe get a little momentum to get us going, but I think we found out know how important this 4th down conversion is coming up. Hall's Tires offer Michelin and BF Goodrich tires that are safe, fuel-efficient, long-lasting tires that provide exceptional performance and extraordinary value. Hall's Tires on Shady Drive in Fairplay.
All right, Phil, and that went off without a hitch, so we got the difficulties fixed. Thank you to Nick Howery from Mountaintop Media. He's been our guy all night here, helping us get our issues fixed. So hopefully fingers crossed, Jeff, we've got that fixed, and hopefully the Vikings can fix their offensive woes here and pick up a pretty tough 4th and 9 situation as they'll come out off the sideline. Myers in the gun, 3 receivers to his left, looking to throw, rolling near side, caught! Hunter Brown down inside the 10, on the move. He throws a dime down to about the 8-yard line. Tough catch in traffic, big conversion, Jeff, for the Vikings. Earmark that one.
Sure was. Virgil found his senior running back. That's that extra point play, Brian, that we run as he comes out of the backfield, shifts out there. They didn't find him, and he got the 1st down yardage. 1st and goal for the Vikings inside the 10.
I formation. They're going to give to D'Amico left side. He gets down in behind one of those big offensive linemen and spins down to the 5. Gain of 3. Not much there. D'Amico somehow finds space.
He's just, as you said, hard to find and very shifty, but we're going to get a timeout here on the field.
Shady will take a timeout with 3:53 remaining here in the first half. We'll take a quick timeout, 13-0. Tigers lead it. More Viking football after this.
the ball. The Vikings were up there and lined up. Shady barely got back onto the field on their side and really wasn't set. Officials let the ball run. I wish they'd come out in the second half that early and let us play.
Absolutely. As we will start to begin the bets on how many minutes are put on the clock.
Well, I think we found out last year. Rube let us know what the officials' ruling is on that.
Virgil keeps it into the end zone for the touchdown on the keeper. 3rd and 1. The Vikings crawl back to within a touchdown. 13-6 pending the extra point.
Big plays on that drive allowed the Vikings to keep the momentum going and finally finish as Virgil Myers gets into the end zone for the blue and white. Let's see what they do here on this extra point attempt.
So the Vikings will go for 2. Football on the left hash. Myers in the gun. Snap back, rolling right, and it's going to be a procedure penalty on the Vikings.
Yeah, and boy, there it is again, Brian. All important PAT, and now they're making it tough on themselves.
Yeah, so now they're going to have to attempt it from the 8-yard line.
Some shocking scores out there tonight. Parkersburg South, who is ranked number 1, playing down in Greenbrier East, where we were last week. They lead, but they only lead by a score of 7-2.
Going for 2. Myers under pressure, rolling toward the Shady sideline, throws it, caught! In and out of the hands of Jenkins. He had it, turned to walk into the end zone, and he dropped it. Wow. That was a good pass under pressure. Couldn't hang on, and the score will hold at 13-6 with 3:12 to go here in the first half.
And Brian, this is an all-important kickoff. We've struggled this year of getting the ball down the field and not allowing the opponents to have good field position. We saw it early in this game, and it's very important that we don't give them excellent field position with this much time left on the clock, with the throwing ability of Green out there and the running ability of he and Richmond. So let's see what happens here on this kickoff.
You got Sellards deep to return. Mason Gandy kicks it off. Low lining kick. Takes a hop down inside the 10, down inside the 5. Sellards is going to pick it up at the 1, and he really has nowhere to go. He's going to be stopped at the 5. He thought it was going to roll into the end zone, and Noah Casto down there come up with the stop. What a break for the Vikings.
Outsmarted himself that time, didn't he? A low lining kick, a good job of getting the ball much deeper on that kick. It bounces funny down there, Brian. He didn't quickly go after it because, as you said, he thought that ball was going to roll in the end zone. It didn't, and now look at the hole that we have them in. Boy, a turnover here would be huge for the Vikings.
Even the problem is, Jeff, 3:08 to go. We only have 1 timeout remaining, so remember that here. If we could get a stop even, give us the Sellards right up the middle. He'll get out to the 10, a gain of a couple. Looks like Bradley Anderson and Colin Moore on the stop.
Bradley Anderson hanging tough in there tonight, doing a good job of not only making tackles, but taking on blockers to allow the linebackers to get up there and make some stops. So good job by that young man tonight.
So a gain of 4, 2nd down and 6 at the 10. Green in the gun, gives it to Richmond left side. He's going to be brought down by Flutie, shy of the yard to gain at about the 14. That'll bring up 3rd and 2 now.
Big 3rd down here now, partner, for the Viking defense. If we can get a stop, get off the field, make them punt it away, there should be plenty of time for us, even though we're short of timeouts, to move that ball down the field.
3rd and long 2, Green in the gun. Backs to either side of him. Hands it off to Sellards. He has the 1st down across the 20. He'll be upended by Frankie Winter that's Torres in there along with Myers. So a big 1st down for the Tigers.
Yeah, scratch that. Let's regroup here a little bit. 1:56 on the running clock. They only have 1 timeout also. And with them running the ball that time quickly, gets away from you.
Green again in the gun. He's got Sellards to his left, Richmond to his right. Gives to Sellards. Left side, and he's going to be finished off by Noah Casto and Colin Moore.
Good thing about starting the second half, Brian, we will, because we deferred in the first half, get the ball back. To start the second half, let's just keep them off the board here with a minute 20 to go. Don't give up a long pass on the play action or something like that.
Gain of 1, second down and 9. Green again, play action, rolling near side. Throws under the flat, complete to Richmond up across the 30. Still on his feet, hit hard by Jenkins. Out at the 37-yard line, and then turns around, flips the football to the turf, and gives a stare at Chris Jenkins.
Yeah, I think they would like to get a little chippy, but so big first down once again. Nice play there by the Tigers.
14-yard gainer.
Minute 2 to go, and 13-6 our score. Ripley trails Shady Springs.
Clock is stopped. 3 receivers now to Green's left. Ball on the left hash, moving left to right. 13-6. Shady leads it. Throw up the near side, and miscommunication between he and Bailey. Bailey was running a post, and he thought he was running a 9 route, and he throws it right down the boundary, and it falls incomplete.
Yeah, and a good job there by the Viking defense, as they just were not going to let him get a release off that line of scrimmage, and never got into the route, as you call it.
So the clock stops. 55.8 to go. 13-6 Vikings trail. Vikings showing pressure. 2nd and 10. Give is the Sellards, and he plows through the initial contact and pushes out to the 40 for a gain of 3.
Looks like the Vikings have jumped off sides on the far side, and it must not have, because the coaching staff of Shady Springs over there, they would surely let that official know. So big 3rd down and 7 now.
Clock turning. 31 seconds remaining here in the half. Green takes a snap, running left side, puts his shoulder down and just plows out to the 45, and he'll be shy of the yard to gain, and it'll bring up 4th down.
That'll probably do it. 15 and 14 and 13 on the running clock, and no timeouts as Shady walks over to their sideline. It's under 10 now, Brian. Looks like we're going to go in with the score 13-6. Big score for the Vikings right before the half ends.
And that's where it will hold as we go to the break. The Johnson Insurance Agency halftime report coming up next. 13-6 Vikings trail. You're listening to Ripley Viking football right here on C98 The Bull. Was the Johnson Insurance Agency halftime report begins here, Jeff, and boy, it was a quick first half, to say the least. 50 minutes, actually, to play 2 quarters of football here at Ripley High School, and, most of it controlled by the Tigers, but they go in here at the break, and they only lead it by 7 points. The Vikings have to feel like that is a victory.
Yeah, Brian, a great job of the Vikings of hanging in there and getting a score right before the half. You're right. It seemed like Shady Springs was going to keep the football in the first half, and they did for much of it, but they just didn't turn a lot of it into points. They get the second touchdown, go up 13-0, have the penalty for unsportsmanlike, and don't get the extra point. The Vikings come down late in the second period of play. They get into the end zone, and with a quarterback sneak from Virgil Myers from the 1-yard line, and then they get a penalty, moves them back, and Shady keeps them from converting the point after, or points after. And we've got a 13-6 score here. Vikings will get the ball back to start the second half of play, and boy, they have a great opportunity of hanging in this game, partner, and trying to get a win out here tonight.
Jeff, they sustained drives. They've had 13 third down opportunities. They've only converted on 5 of them, but the fact that they had 13 of them in the first half tells you they've been sustaining drives in that first half.
Yeah, it does. They kept the ball a long time. We talked about it before the game, at least you did, in talking about their ground and pound and, just grinding it out. They did go to the air when they needed to, especially early in the game, and converting some third and longs. But for the most part, Brian, they kept it close to the vest on the ground. Quarterbacks running out of the shotgun, student body left, student body right, changing it up a little bit between Green and Richmond, and kept the Vikings off balance a little bit, slided up inside every now and then, but just kept moving the chains, which kept the clock going. So, but as you said, 1-score game here to begin the second half.
You look at Brady Green in that first half, 6 of 9, 96 yards and a touchdown. Adam Richmond, 6 carries, 35 yards, 5.8 per carry. Sellards, 9 carries for 22 yards. Brady Green, 6 carries for 13 yards and a first down. He creates a lot of problems for you, Jeff. Just the threat of being able to run it, even if he can only get a couple of yards. You saw the big completion there in the first quarter down the far sideline. He tucked the football like he was going to run. The entire Viking secondary starts approaching the line of scrimmage. He just pulls the football back out, floats it over top of the Viking defense. They get about a 27, 28-yard gain, and that led to that first score. So his ability to do that will really make defensive coordinators pull their hair out in the ball game, and he's been very good.
When you got a quarterback that can extend the play like that and can use that run-pass option to his benefit, and he shows, as you said, Brian, great touch. There's a certain way to throw that ball, especially in the hole over there, to where you time it just perfectly so that the underneath nor the defender over the top can get there. And, used to really love to have a quarterback that could throw it in the hole like that. And the receiver can see everything coming in front of him. And so great job there of, as you said, extending the drive and getting on the scoreboard. On the Viking side, the Vikings come out and give the Tigers a little dose of Mr. Brown. And Hunter Brown, the senior, steps up, running the ball, catching the ball, doing a good job out there. The offensive line was opening up some holes. They were doing a good job protecting Virgil. Had some opportunities, just had some misses on some passes. Had a couple of receivers open, just couldn't connect. And so, we're right here in this thing.
What you got set there in front of you, partner?
I don't know what that is. That showed up. It looks like peanut butter.
I don't know, but the food's been good up here tonight. We've been eating well. There's no doubt about
Yacht
that.
Club. I think Becky Mullins Brings in some desserts, but yeah, you're right. Those Italian subs were good. Those chicken wings, I noticed you had a few dozen of those.
Maybe, maybe 3 or 4 dozen.
They're
Can't
good.
confirm nor deny the number of those.
We
that
are
I had.
very fortunate. We have been at many different places this year, and not even a box of popcorn in the press box.
It is nice to be home, no question about it. Jeff, Vikings, what do they have to do in the second half? I mean, other than jump-starting the offense a little bit, I think play action might be where it's at to get things going. Hunter Brown's running the football pretty good. He is averaging 4.6 per carry in this first half. D'Amico on limited carries is averaging 3.8. Those two, that 1-2 punch right there, if you can get some of those defenders out of the box, they just do not concern themselves much with us being able to throw the football. When we can force them to defend even the intermediate pass game, you start pulling safeties, you start keeping those linebackers from creeping up to the line of scrimmage before the ball is snapped, then the running lanes open up. Football is really not a difficult game when you break it down. We make it difficult, but you necessarily, when you X's and O's thing, you got to be able to throw it a little bit. And I think we can. We just need to do it a little more frequently and a little more consistently.
Yeah, I would love for us to come out of the locker room to start the second half, receive this kick, make sure we handle it well, and get the ball in good, decent or good field position. And as you said, Brian, mix it up a little bit. Let's be aggressive, do some things, pull some rabbits out of the hat, so to speak, to try to get them off balance and to the point where the down and distance is not so predictable. So, Shady, I'm sure will make some adjustments, especially on Brown running the ball and the way the Vikings set those plays up. But the element of surprise is not a bad thing. I really like it, and everybody says, well, you may waste it down, but you may score wrong. I like coming out and chucking it. Yeah. First play, catch them on their heels. Everybody's a little bit tight, not loosened up, not got a good sweat going to start the second half. Maybe you'd catch them flat-footed. You don't know, but it's worth a shot.
Tiger Band made the trip up here tonight. Jeff,
and they're good.
They're performing right now for the home crowd. Viking, proud of Jackson County, awaiting their opportunity. 10:20 remaining here on the halftime clock. We all know it's actually 13:21 remaining, so we will step out for one moment. We'll return with more of the Johnson Insurance Agency halftime report after this on C98, The Bull.
Congratulations. And now for your halftime entertainment, the Ripley High Marching Band is presenting the alternative early punk rock of the 90s. Songs we perform are Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana, Come Out and Play by The Offspring, and Good Riddance by Green Day, and All My Life by the Foo Fighters. Remind everybody that the Tri-State Marching Band competition is Saturday, October 22nd at Marshall University, and Viking Fest is here at Memorial Stadium on November 5th.
6, the Vikings trail here at the halftime break. And, Jeff, some interesting scores around the state of West Virginia tonight.
Some very unusual scores, Brian, thus far tonight. Parkersburg South and Greenbrier East. And, you know, the Patriots, they had quite a game last week in Morgantown. They started slow, but they're up 16-2 now over Greenbrier East. Here's one that's a head-scratcher. The Hurricane Redskins have had back-to-back weeks where they just played lights out. They're playing Riverside tonight, a 2-5 Riverside team, and they're tied at 7 in the second period. Cabell Midland, they've been on a roller coaster ride. They upset Spring Valley when Spring Valley was running on all cylinders. They're losing 28-14 in the third quarter to the Huntington Highlanders. Now here's another head scratcher. Spring Valley, who had just been on a tear, they get beat by Cabell Midland. They still must have a hangover because George Washington has not been playing spectacular football, but playing football good enough to win in some games. They lead Spring Valley 25-0. So, you know, you just look at those scores and you think, what is going on? Game of interest over the hill in Roane County. The Raiders 7-0 taking on Single A Doddridge County, also 7-0. And Roane County leads that game 12-0. Williamstown undefeated, playing Fort Fry, Ohio. The Cadets come into this game at 8-1. The Jackets of Williamstown 7-0, and Fort Fry leads that in the third quarter by a score of 15-13. And Brian, you know, you just scroll down through the scores. St. Mary's, number 16, playing number 12, South Harrison. St. Mary's jumped out early in this game. South Harrison's came back, and it's a 20-14 game. St. Mary's leads at the half. So it'll be interesting when we get off the air and all these scores start coming in to see just what is happening around the state of West Virginia tonight.
Yeah, and the Vikings, Jeff, you feel like they are starting to feel themselves offensively a little bit. They're starting to get a little bit of an identity. We've talked about it all season long, that they've really, really struggled in figuring out who they are. Now, refining who they are is what they're trying to work through now, and it's hard to do that this late in the season. You got a new quarterback under center. You've got some different pieces here or there. You've been dealing with injuries. D'Amico's been injured. Hunter Brown's been injured. Ethan Kay's been out with injury. You have some guys up front banged up. But they do show the ability, Jeff, to be able to move the football consistently. Now, the things you can't do that we did in that first half, put the football on the turf. Even if you don't turn the ball over, you still lose 3 or 4 yards. You get yourself behind the chains. We did that twice in drives in that first half, which killed drives. That's every bit as much as a penalty. I'd almost rather have a pre-snap penalty because you at least get that yard, you at least get that down over again. You fumble the football, you lose the down, plus you lose the yardage. So you got to hang on to the football. You've got to convert on third downs, and you've got to be able to stay ahead of those chains on first and second down. You got to get 3, 4 yards on first and second down. Put yourself in a manageable third down position.
Outstanding analysis there, Brian, of what needs to happen. I mean, those are keys to the game each and every week, and you can see how it changes momentum back and forth. You can see how it kills drives. When you do those things, you get yourself in down and distance, which isn't very comfortable, and it's just tough. So the Vikings have got to come out here after the half fired up and ready to go, getting the ball on offense. I'm sure that Coach Simon has in mind a series of plays he would like to come out with and get started with in the second half. Let's just see if we can execute. Now, you talked about the young Vikings and the rebuilding, and that is so. And you kind of look and say, okay, what are we going to have to replace next year and in years to come? And, I mean, you look out there and you see some linemen that you're going to have to replace. You see Hunter Brown and some of those folks that, are going to have to be replaced. Ryan Simon, We saw them introduced here tonight on senior night, and so there's some pretty good shoes to fill out there, but we got some pretty good youngins that are stepping up and making some plays. You know, I think of Noah Castro, I think of Pritt, I think of Moore and some of those kids on both sides of the ball. Of course, you've got quarterbacks coming back, you got receivers coming back. So, you know, it's not like the cupboard's going to be bare.
Now, defensively, Jeff, if I'm the Viking coaching staff, I'm going to get in some form of a shell zone type defense, force Brady Green to make the right read, force him to throw it more accurately. He really seems to thrive when we get in that press man coverage, and they like to go vertical on you. He throws a very nice deep ball. They have some guys that can get open, that can get off the line of scrimmage and get into space and create big plays. I like for us to sit back a little bit, force them to drive the field, force them to make plays.
Yeah, and one thing that kind of scares me, well, not really scares me, it concerns me, you know, when they run that quarterback power out of that backfield, and, you know, you got receivers blocking downfield, when is he going to sprint out to one side or the other? The receiver looks like he's going to come down and lock up. He just sprints by, and he stops and pops it down the field. The Vikings got to be aware of that. They can't get sucked up if he runs that quarterback power right or left on consecutive downs, because eventually they're going to set that thing up.
So the Pride of Jackson County finished with their performance here at the halftime break. Both teams back out on the field. And we're going to step out while they put 3 more minutes on the clock here at the halftime break. Second half coming at you after this right here on C98, The Bull. Out warming up 13-6 your score here on senior night at Memorial Stadium, and it's right there for the taking. Jeff, this thing could have gotten out of hand early. We talked a little bit about that in the beginning of this halftime break. Shady had opportunities to punch it into the end zone. They had the football nearly the entire first quarter. 1 minute and 39 seconds of game time was all the Viking offense possessed the football, and we're here sitting at a 7-point deficit. This could be a 3-score halftime break.
Yeah, it looked like Shady was going to continue to extend the lead. They just didn't get it done, and the Vikings come back, as you said, Brian, and score right before the half. Big score, big job, and a big defensive stand. A great kickoff. And a great coverage that put them in horrible field position to start their last drive, and the Viking defense stood up and held them, and the clock ran out, and so we will receive the kickoff here in the second half, and let's see if we can do something with it.
So, yeah, an opportunity here for the Vikings to punch it into the end zone, and most likely go for 2 if they can on, punch one in the end zone here. And, that would give them a 1-point lead if they're able to convert on that. That's why that penalty on the second score after the celebration penalty on the Tigers was so big, as they even got a couple of opportunities. A pass interference on their first opportunity of the 2-point conversion gave that a little more manageable, and then they go to kick the extra point, and Virgil Myers, too quick off of that left side, gets in there and swats it away. That's his 4th blocked kick of the season. So the Vikings will have it. Shady will be kicking off from right to left. Left to right, excuse me. It'll be Colton Henderson to kick it off. Jenkins and Lawrence deep to return for the Vikings. The Vikings in their home blue jerseys, white pants, white helmets, white numerals. The Tigers in their gold pants, white jerseys trimmed in navy blue and gold numerals against those white jerseys. Very difficult to pick those numbers up here tonight. And Colton Henderson will kick it off again. The right footer, as Jenkins and Lawrence camped out on their own 15. Henderson kicks it off, short kick, be fielded at the 26, right back up the middle across the 40. Good return there. That's Cameron Good. Puts his head down, Jeff. He gets good yardage.
Sure does, and the Vikings, as we said, Brian, needed good field position to start this second half. They've got it, as that ball is spotted at the 42-yard line. 1st and 10 Vikings, and the offense out there on the field ready to go.
That is a return of 21. Myers has it. He'll keep it. Coming left side, turns it upfield, and he'll be brought down across the 45 out to the 48. Virgil brought down there by Sellers. Good gain on first down, Jeff. We talked about how important staying ahead of the chains is, and that puts us in great opportunity here. A lot of plays in the playbook on 2nd and 4.
Yes, sir. Anything you can do, I can do better. Quarterback keeper.
So Myers looks to the sideline. He has 3 receivers to his right, D'Amico to his left, and D'Amico will get the call. They try to run the off tackle, and D'Amico, just sheer speed, Jeff. He picks up a couple of yards out to the Tiger 49-yard line, and I don't know how he got 3 yards out of that other than speed and elusiveness.
It looked like they had him dead to rights in the backfield. He turned the jets on, got to the corner and turned it up and gets positive yardage. Took a hit just short of the marker for yards needed for first down. But good position here for the Vikings on 3rd and 1.
Nose of the football at the 49. Myers under center, hands it off. Brown, he's got the first down across the 45, still on his feet. Stretching down to the 43. Good gain there. 3rd and 1, they get 6.
Need a yard, give it to the senior on senior night. Let him go get it for you. And more than enough for that first down yardage. First down, Vikings on the other side of the 50-yard line, the Shady Springs side. So, Brian, we're on the move. Let's see if we can keep it going.
Vikings 4 of 7 on 3rd down tonight after that conversion. Myers, hands off. Brown, right side. He'll push down to the 40.5, we'll call it.
Good push up front by the right side of that Viking offensive line. And Brown was able to even push up in there and get 3 yards. So 2nd and 7. Vikings trail 13-6 to Shady Springs. 9 minutes, 46 seconds to go here in the 3rd period.
Vikings stay in the no huddle slowly now as Brown shifts to Myers' right. Design run for Virgil, and the Tigers are not surprised by that play call. Myers stacked up right at the line of scrimmage.
Defensive end for Shady Springs just stayed, took his 2 steps upfield, turned and waited, and Virgil had to run right into him or right through him to get any yardage, and there was nothing there.
So 3rd and 7, these are the third downs you want to stay out of if you're the Vikings. Lawrence to Virgil's left. 3 receivers to Virgil's left. Single receiver to his right. Ball on the right hash, moving right to left. 8:58 to go, third period, 13-6. Vikings trail. High snap. Virgil scoops it up at the 50, rolling near side, looking to throw. He'll throw it. He's got a man wide open. Wyatt Simon can't hang on. Diving attempt at the 12. A little underthrown, Jeff. And boy, Wyatt Simon got behind the defense, and that would have been a huge play for the Vikings.
But how did that even happen? A snap that was high, through the hands of Virgil, a perfect bounce. He scoops it up and keeps his composure to continue instead of just running. He looks downfield, finds Simon wide open, as you said, a little underthrown, and just couldn't come up with the catch.
He maybe rushed it just a hair. Had he set his feet, he probably would have delivered a touchdown pass, but the Vikings will go for it. 4th and 7. Virgil back to throw, steps up in the pocket. He's got room to run. He's going to have the first down, 30. Still on his feet, 25, 20. Penalty flag flies in. But it'll be a first down nonetheless because the penalty flag was past the line to gain.
It looked as if it was a questionable call of block in the back, but I think that's what probably we're going to see signaled here, Brian.
Holding is the indication against the Vikings. So that will give them the first down. That'll move it from the 20 back to the 30. So first down nonetheless.
Big 4th down play, keeping the drive alive. That's what Virgil can do back there. He got flushed out of the pocket. The defense was in that man coverage, Brian, and you don't see him come out of there, and then when you do, it's too late.
1st and 10, football at the 29. So a gain of 21 for Virgil on the carry. Virgil in the gun. D'Amico to his left. 3 receivers to his left. Busted play. Virgil will run with it. Really nowhere to go. Makes one man miss. Got 2 yards, and he had no business getting back to the line of scrimmage. Again, just a big play by Virgil. Making someone miss, Jeff. There was nothing there.
It was almost like, he got the ball. He looked for the running back to come across his face to hand it off, and nobody was there. So what do? You follow all your guys, and you try to make something out of nothing, and he did pick up 1 yard.
7:40 on the clock here in the third. 2nd and 9. Virgil looks to the sideline. Snap back, fakes it, gives a fake to Henderson. He's into the secondary at the 15, the 10, spinning off tacklers down to the 7. Ball pops out. Official says he's down. Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
I thought he gave it to D'Amico at the last second on that zone read. He pulled it out of his belly, kept it, and then made Henderson shook him out of his cleats, Jeff. That was one of the best moves I've seen in a long time.
I was going
Gets
to say
down
laundry.
to the 8. A little bit of laundry on the turf
Lingerie
there.
on the turf out there.
No question.
Wow.
What a play. I don't think I did any service to that call, but wow, what a play by Virgil as Hunter gets the call and buries into the end zone for the touchdown. It looked like he was going to be pulled down at the 2. Hunter was not going to be denied the touchdown. The senior on senior night finds the blue on that Viking end zone.
What a play. What a series of plays. And what a drive for the Vikings as they come out to start the second half. They run almost 6 minutes off the clock, I think, in that possession, Brian. 5+ and find pay dirt. So big extra point here. 13-12 our score. The Vikings trail by 1. They're going for 2 here.
Pistol formation for Virgil. Hunter behind him, receiver either side, play action, rolling near side, looking to throw, underthrown as Virgil was under pressure. He took a shot that time as the pass falls incomplete, and the Vikings will trail 13-12 with 6:52 to go here in the third period. Let's go down to the sideline. Hall's Tires sideline report. Phil, big score for the Vikings.
Guys, I'm glad you didn't cut to me while was in scramble mode because every one of those defenders that he said, I'm out here hooting and hollering, cheering him on. I tell you what a great opportunity, or what a great job by this coaching staff and by these athletes to come out at halftime to know that they need to come down here and to score. This has got to come out and do what they do and give us another opportunity.
All right, Phil, thank you. As Vikings pull back to within a point, as Mason Gandy will kick it off for the Vikings.
Let's see if Mason can get another one of those.
Richmond deep to return.
On the turf.
Another low liner. Richmond will let it bounce. Bounces off his face mask. He scoops it up at the 19, up across the 25, 35, 40. Cuts it back in, 45. Still on his feet, midfield, 40. 35, far sideline. Mason Gandy forces him out of bounds at the 30-yard line.
The muff punt, or kick, excuse me, Brian. And so often you see that when it's not fielded cleanly, the kick team is in full sprint. They bobble it, they kind of let up a little bit to readjust, and he runs right by him, and that's what happened. Once he got through that first wave and got to the edge, there was only one man, Jenkins, out there to pursue him down. He ran him down toward the kicker, and the kicker comes through. Mason does a good job of running him out of bounds.
So great field position. Richmond has been a headache for the Vikings all night. What an athlete. They'll hand it off to him, looking for running room, and he's still on his feet. He'll have yardage to the 27.5-yard line. Colin Moore on the stop.
Richmond showing a lot of patience that time. The Vikings had him hemmed in, and he made a cutback. Just was waiting for something to open, and finally did. He got everything he could, which was about 3 yards out of that.
2nd down and 7. Green in the gun, looking to throw. He'll step up and run with it. Runs into the teeth of that Viking defense right at the line of scrimmage. Defended well. I think that was a designed run. I mean, his helmet came off, Jeff, so he's going to come off the field.
Yep. Jacob
Torres in there along with Noah Casto on the stop. But good patience and good discipline shown up front by the Vikings, as it was a little hesitation before he came out of there. The Vikings were ready for it. 3rd and 7.
Looked like a call quarterback draw, and the Vikings did a good job just staying in their rush lanes, Brian, and he had nowhere to go.
So Richmond will take the snap as Green had to come off of the field after losing his headgear, and a timeout taken by the Tigers. Will take 1-2, 5:33 to go here in the first half. 13-12 Vikings trail. More Viking football after this on C98 The Bull.
Richmond on the carry. Brought down by Tyson Pritt and Ethan Kegg.
7. He's brought down behind the line of scrimmage by Pritt and Casto as they combine on the stop, and we appear to have an injured Tiger on the field, and that is Richmond. That would be a big loss for this Shady offense, as he has put some big numbers up here through about 2.5 quarters against the Vikings, as they will attend to him quickly. But, Jeff, it's going to be 4th and 9 at the Viking 27 when action resumes, as we're going to help him to his feet, and he's going to be assisted to the sidelines.
Not putting any weight on that. He was face down on the turf. They rolled him over and get him up out of there. But you're right, big play by the Viking defense on that stop, creating this 4th and 9, Brian. And what a big play as the Viking offenses came out firing on all cylinders to start the second half of play. And let's see what Shady Spring has in store.
4th down, Green in the gun. He's got Sellers to his right, 3 receivers to his left. They're going to throw to the single coverage. Jenkins there makes a nice play. He goes up to defend that football, and they beat him once on that. Not going to beat him a second time. Jenkins, a good defensive play, and the Vikings will take over on downs.
That ball was underthrown, but Jenkins had him blanketed. It didn't matter if it was over or under. He was right there. Perfect position to make the play on the ball. So the big kickoff return goes all for naught. Great field position by Shady Spring. They couldn't take advantage of it, and the Vikings now take over on offense.
71 yards away from pay dirt are the Vikings. Myers hands it off. Hunter Brown right side, spins off the initial contact, maybe a yard. They'll mark him with momentum to the 30, so gain of 1, 2nd and 9. Snap it here on 2nd down.
Brown fired up in there. Shady Spring, good pursuit. They met him at the line of scrimmage. He was able to drive forward for 1, as you called it, Brian, and pretty good defense that time of getting Brown to the turf.
Myers again. 1 of 6 passing, Jeff. And you see how many men are in the box right there for the Tigers. They are not concerned with the Vikings throwing the football. 5 seconds on the play clock. Snap back. Myers will keep it right side. Makes 1 man miss and picks up 2 to the 32-yard line. Henderson on the stop.
As you said, Shady Spring defense pretty much, Brian, just selling out to defend the run. Play action, you called it at halftime, said, play action pass may work for the Vikings. So let's see if Coach Simon has something special for him here on 3rd and long.
2 receivers either side. Brown in the backfield with Myers, and
now it's going to be 3rd and 12.
3rd and 12 as the Vikings give them 5 freebies. And again, these are the penalties that drive you crazy in these opportunities. You go from 3rd and manageable to now 3rd and very difficult, 3rd and 12.
Need somebody to make a play for us here with 3:37. Boy, this quarter's going by quickly also.
Snap back. Myers looking to throw. He has time. Steps up in the pocket. He's going to run with it. He'll make 1 man miss. Still on his feet. 35. Spins off the tackle. Dives out near the 39, Jeff, and I think he has it. You ask for someone to make a play, give it to 14.
Wow, as Shady Spring defenders left in their tracks as he comes out of there scrambling.
Jeff, they didn't even measure that. They gave him the first down at the 39. What a play by Virgil Myers. He was just making defenders look silly out there in the open field.
So what looked very bleak for the Vikings after that procedure penalty with 3rd and long becomes 1st and 10, and we're still on the move.
Trailing by a point. Hunter Brown gets the call, and he pushes out to the 45. So a gain of 6 on 1st down. This, my friend, right here, is the beautiful spot for play action pass. Do we do it? Who knows? But an opportunity on 2nd and short.
Yeah, good down and distance for something of that nature. They have sold out. They do have the 1 safety back, but he can't cover sideline to sideline.
3 receivers to Myers' left. Lawrence in the backfield to his left. Single receivers, Jenkins at the top of the formation. Vikings moving right to left. On the right hash, 13-12 they trail. 2:15 to go, 3rd period. Myers slant pattern, and the intended receiver appeared to be the back judge that time as he just got out of the way of it.
A lot of pressure being applied coming off that left side, that defensive end, getting penetration right in Virgil's face, and Virgil trying to deliver it very quickly and trying to find someone in a seam, but
I like the
couldn't
call.
connect.
Wasn't play action, but it was a quick hitter. I like the call. Vikings just could not convert, but at least now they have to have, those linebackers have to have that in the back of their mind.
Third down now, I believe.
So 3rd and 4 at the 45. Give to D'Amico, coming left side, and nowhere to go. He's going to be stacked up right at the line of scrimmage. It should be 4th down.
Couldn't get him out in space that time, and he's not very large of stature there, and the defenders who were much bigger were able to corral D'Amico up that time. If he could have got by that first defender, Brian, he could have put a charge in this crowd over here.
Vikings thought about going for it. They'll punt it. 1:40 to go, trailing by a point here in the 3rd period. Myers, he's going to run with it. Is he going to be able to get there? They call the fake, and he's not. He gets back to the line of scrimmage.
Gives Shady Spring tremendous field position, trying to trick them by running the fake punt. They didn't get fooled. They bring Virgil down at the 45, and let's hope that doesn't backfire on us and turn into points for the Tigers.
It's a great call when it works. It's a horrible call when it doesn't, right?
And,
it's a fine line.
And I love it.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah,
it didn't work, but
you're 2 and 6, trailing by a point. Why not? What do you have to lose at this point? I like the play call. Vikings just were unable to execute as Sellers gets the call, and he'll be stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Flutie in there on the stop.
The way the Viking
Lowry,
defense has stepped up, Brian, here in the second half, kind of shut down Shady Springs' offense. I think that's a good risk to take.
Absolutely.
On that fake punt. Lean on your defense to come out here, make a stop, get the ball back, and let's go down and score.
2nd and 10 now for Green and the Tigers. Receivers, 2 of them split to either side, looking to throw. He has time, steps up in the pocket, floats it over the middle, and it's caught. And the receiver just lays down at about the 23-yard line.
He laid down because there was a Viking defender, and it might have been Virgil Myers in the territory, and he wasn't going to take on that hit. He made a clean catch. He gets down. They move the chains. They get it inside the 25-yard line. Good pitch and catch, and the poise of the quarterback that time, standing in the pocket and delivering a perfect pass down the center of the field.
That was McCall on the catch. Green looking to throw again. He'll step up in the pocket under pressure, and the Vikings are going to bring him to the turf. They'll sack him back at about the 28-yard line. That'll be a loss of 4.
Little delay blitz that time. Good call by the Viking defense. And, the back couldn't get out. That works very well when you can keep that back in the backfield for protection where he can't slip out and just catch it and run with it. So.
2nd and 14, Green. And a timeout is going to be called. Actually, that'll be the end of the 3rd period. We'll go to the 4th, trailing 13-12 here at Death Valley. More Viking football after this on C98, The Bull.
Great pass is complete to number 11.
Return to 4th quarter action here. down inside the 15, down to the 13-yard line. That's McCall.
First down, McCall makes back-to-back catches, gets the Tigers first down yardage, so 1st and 10 at the 13-yard line. They can still make a first down, Brown, without scoring.
2 receivers again to either side of Green. Snap back. He's going to run with it. Now he's going to flip it out in the flat. Caught. And Tyson Pritt's going to make a really good open field tackle on the receiver.
But what a play by Green as he comes out of there. It looked like we had him dead to rights. And great catch out there on the edge, but even better defense, as you called it, Brian. So pickup of about 2.
It looked like he really looked like he was going to run that one, Jeff, no doubt. He's very sleight of hand. He'll run this one right up the middle, and Noah Casto comes in from behind on the initial contact, but the big fella falls forward down to the 7. They bring up 3rd and short.
6'3", 230 or 40 man, and you know Noah was there, but he just couldn't lasso him and knock him off his feet. So big pickup there. 3rd and about, they say 2. It looks more like 3.
I think it's about 3 from the 7. Lowry on the stop a moment ago. Green, the Sellers to his right. He'll throw. Throws it into the flat near side and into the end zone. Goes the receiver. 19-12 now, a 7-point lead for the Tigers, and that was a good drive, Jeff, as they executed beautifully and really picked the Viking secondary apart.
Yeah, and I couldn't tell, Brian, I couldn't tell if there was a rub on the inside that separated the defender from the receiver, but he was pretty clean out there on that out route.
This is an important extra point as Henderson will come in to attempt the extra point kick. Snap back, placement down, kick is up, and it is good, just inside the right upright, and that makes it an 8-point lead for the Tigers. That's a big extra point.
And that one hurts, and you go back to the fake punt attempt that, you know, you called it. When it works, it's great. When it doesn't, and especially when you give another team good field position, they didn't have a long field to travel to get into that end zone. And Green makes some plays and gets the Tigers out to a 20-12 lead.
10:39 to go here in the ballgame. Vikings trail by 8. And the short passing game, Jeff, is so hard to defend, especially if you're trying to play man-to-man on the outside, because as you said, those little rub routes work as a pick play almost. It's really supposed to be a penalty, but everybody does it. They don't call it. You see it on all levels of football. But it's really difficult to defend, and when they know they got you in man-to-man, they can just absolutely pitch and catch it out there. And that's what the Tigers did on that drive as Henderson set to kick it off for the Tigers. Short kick. It's going to be fielded by Noah Casto at the 35, on his feet to the 44. I love how this kid plays football. He just plays as hard as he can play on every play. And he came an ace at popping out of there, Jeff.
His eyes get great big, and he gets excited when he gets involved, whether it's a fumble or a kick return like that. So, you know, he was very excited to field that kick. Great field position for the Vikings. Let's see with 10:34 if we can go down and get a score.
Myers looks to the sideline. They'll change the play. Hunter Brown to his left, 2 receivers either side. 10:34 to go in the ballgame. 20-12, the Vikings trail. Myers rolling near side, looking to throw, steps up in the pocket, reversing field, still on his feet, 45. Now reversing back toward the Viking sideline. He ran about 40 yards to gain 2, but a 2-yard gain nonetheless, Joe.
Yeah, and I'm not good, and I don't play those video games, but that's kind of what that looked like there as Virgil takes the ball, looking to pass, cuts back across, rolls back across, runs all over the place, picks up 2 yards.
Hit the X button, hit the Y button, do whatever you got to do to get get the defenders off of you.
Took a pretty good hit there at the end of it.
So it'll be 2nd and 8 now at their own 46. Myers, snap, handoff, D'Amico, near side, turns it upfield, and he'll be brought down right at the line of scrimmage. I believe that was Sellards in there on the stop.
Trying to get D'Amico out in open space where he can use that speed and quickness, but good pursuit that time once again by the Tigers, and they bring him down for no gain.
Here we go, 3rd and 8. Vikings 5 of 11 on 3rd down here tonight, 1 of 4 on 4th. Might be 4-down territory depending on what they do here on 3rd. 3 receivers to Virgil's left. Rolling to his left, looking to throw. He's going to pitch it out in the flat to Boyd. Boyd's got it across midfield. He has the first down. He'll be down to the Shady 45-yard line. I really like that play, Jeff.
Yeah, he just held it and held it and held it. Run pass option over there on the far side of the field. And Boyd did a good job of just staying where he could see him. Always had that relief valve out there, and he catches it, turns it up, and gets first down.
9-yard gainer for Boyd. 1st and 10 at the Tiger 45. Myers stays in that twin formation. Running back to his left. Play clock at 6. Changing the play. 3 seconds. Snap back. Myers grabs it out of the... It was about the top of his helmet when he pulled that one in, and he's able to pick up a couple of yards down to the 42. That snap appeared like it might sail over his head. Good job by Virgil.
And, you know, the Vikings line up. They have a play call. They always are in that look-to-me formation, looking for an extra signal coming off the sideline.
2nd and 7. They'll change the play again. Still 13 seconds on the play clock. Snap back. Virgil looking to throw. Looking for a screen, and he's going to be smothered in back at the 48-yard line. Good play there by Greenway.
Virgil taking another big hit. Going to be brought down for the loss on the play.
So that's a loss of 6. As that puts the Vikings behind the chains here on 3rd and long. 3rd and 13 now from their own, or from the Shady 48, excuse me. 7:50 turning clock. 20-12 the Vikings trail. Play in 5 seconds. D'Amico moves to hit Virgil's right. He'll roll near side. Same play they ran a moment ago. And incomplete as he underthrows Boyd this time. So the Vikings now about have to punt it at this point, Joe.
And Shady Springs, Brian, had that defended pretty well. It looked like Virgil was going to be able to deliver the ball to Boyd, but he couldn't get where he needed to on the field. There were 2 defenders there, and he had to either run it or pitch it quickly. And he did, and just underthrew it. So you said 4th down 13. Vikings will go right back into punt formation.
Yeah, they'll punt it. Against the play clock here, 5 seconds. Myers back to punt, 2 seconds. High snap, he pulls it down. Rugby style punt, a good one. Toward the near side. Bailey fields it, I believe. And about the 17, cross the field, 30. Be out to the 34-yard line.
Number 44 on the return for the Tigers.
So good return by Shady Spring that time. Looked like the Vikings had him hemmed in pretty good. He made a little juke, got to the far sideline, turned the ball upfield, and reaches the 35. So the Viking defense is going to be called upon once again, Brian. 7:24 to go here in the ball game. The Vikings trail 20-12 to the Tigers of Shady Spring.
It was actually Locklear on the return. Ethan Kay credited with the stop. Big defensive possession here for this Viking team. They want any opportunity late in this one, they have to get a stop. Green keeps it, and the Vikings had their ears pinned back on that one as Cody Lawrence in there on the stop.
in the middle of the field on the defense as Pritt came up to cover the second slot man wide left. It left the center of that field wide open, and the Vikings shut it down before the quarterback can get through the initial line of scrimmage and get into that second level.
You imagine they're going to bleed as much clock as they can here, Jeff, with 6:50 to go in this ball game. Vikings, all 3 of their timeouts. I'd be surprised to see the football go in the air as Green gets under center for one of the first times tonight. Hands it off. Sellers, power run right up the middle, and he's going to be close to first down yardage. He'll be a couple of yards shy. And it's Colin Moore on the stop.
Looks like he was going to get there, but when the Vikings did make contact with him, they stood him straight up. He wasn't able to push forward and get additional yardage. So 3rd and 2 at the 43-yard line, 6:16 to go on the running clock here in the 4th period of play.
This is a big 3rd down. The Tigers, 6 of 15 on 3rd down tonight. Green will get under center again. Vikings nearly jumped into the neutral zone. Sellers gets the football. He's hitting the backfield, carries the Viking defender for first down. Good powerful run that time by James Sellers out to the 47-yard line.
And that was Moore who made the initial stop, Brian, but he had an angle. He made good contact, but he couldn't get any leverage, and the ball carrier was able to pull forward to get the yards needed for the first down.
So they'll slowly bring the play in. 15 seconds on the play clock turning. 5:32 to go in the ball game. 20-12 the Vikings trail. Vikings look to be in the neutral zone on the near side. Hopefully they get out of there. Green under center gives the handoff near side. Patiently running, and the Vikings drag him out of bounds. So that's a mistake for the Tigers. As Davis gets the carry, he'll pick up a couple of yards out to midfield. Chris Jenkins on the stop.
A couple of high tackles over here on the sideline, but the Vikings did stay away from that face mask and drive him out of bounds. As you said, stops the clock at 5:20. 2nd down and 7.
Those are the little things, Jeff. As a coach, you would rather see him maybe give up a yard and stay in bounds and let that clock turn. 2nd and 7 now. Again, Green under center. Hands it off. Across midfield down to the Viking 48. That's Davis again. He'll gain 2.
So big 3rd down here once again for the Vikings, Brian. And we said that a lot tonight, but this really is 3rd and 5. Ball close to it's beyond midfield at the 30 or 48, excuse me.
Could be decision time for them as well if the Vikings are able to hold here. Do you go for it that close to midfield with an 8-point lead? I would imagine you would punt it out of there and force the Vikings.
I think so.
With time ticking away. Under center again. Play action, looking to throw. He can run it. He's got the run pass option. He'll throw it now, and it falls incomplete. Wow, that's a break for the Vikings. Vikings had it defended pretty well.
Yeah.
So it'll be 4th and 5.
One of the few mistakes tonight made by Mr. Green. Looked like he had plenty of room to run down the sideline. He had a receiver open short, but he was trying to get it to the sticks and falls incomplete. Vikings have new life once again.
Henderson will punt it. Jenkins and Myers deep to return. The defense, low snap. Henderson gets it out of there. High end over end punt. Takes a Viking bounce at the 21, bounces back to the 23, penalty flag laying on the field. See what the call might be.
There's not offsides on the Vikings.
And it's in an area where it might be, Jeff. It's near the Vikings sideline, right at the line of scrimmage. And legal procedure.
Whoa, okay.
We'll take it.
Yes, sir.
So they'll have to re-punt it. Play usually is blown dead, Jeff. When it is a penalty on the offense, they let it go. So you were under the impression that was going to be on the Vikings, but we'll take it.
A couple of big scores across the state. Parkersburg South 23, Greenbrier East 2 at halftime. Huntington leads Cabell Midland 41. No, they don't lead them. They beat them 41-21.
Another low snap. Henderson, shortstop, looked like fields it. Kicks it to Myers, 34. Middle of the field, makes one-man miss, fumbles the football. Still waiting for the indication. Tigers say they have it.
Vikings say they have it.
Viking football. Wow.
Dodge a bullet.
Goodness gracious.
Write that one down, partner. At 4:31 in the fourth period, score 20-12.
Ethan Kay covers that one up at the 42-yard line.
Wow.
We'll take it.
It's a hard stopper.
Thank you. Good to have Ethan Kay back. He probably saved the game for the Vikings with that recovery. So 4:31 to go in this one. Vikings trail by 8. And a pre-snap penalty on the blue and white. So 1st and 10, now 1st and 15.
Drive killers, partner. We talk about it all the time. We definitely need to move this ball down the field as quickly and as efficiently and effectively as possible and get it in the end zone. We're 8 down, so a touchdown and a 2-point conversion gets us into a tie.
Myers calls his own number, and he'll get back to the 40. That's a gain of 3 on 1st and 15.
And I think you're going to see, Brian, them kind of mirroring Virgil Myers, assigning someone out there to be watching every move he makes on the offensive side of the ball.
Vikings have all 3 timeouts left. 4 minutes on the game clock, trailing by 8. On senior night, Vikings looking to make something happen as late to get the adjustment in with 10 seconds on the play clock. 3:45 to go, clock turning. Myers, play action, looking to throw. Slant pattern. That was for Wyatt Simon, and it falls incomplete. And the linebacker, Sellards, I believe, Jeff, I thought he was going to step into the passing lane and pick that one off. Luckily for the Vikings, it falls incomplete.
Virgil never looked off of him. He saw him. He waited and waited on that little skinny post, trying to catch him in the seam. And they finally dropped back into that zone. If they get that ball tipped up into the air, it's a nightmare for us.
So clock stop, 3:40 to go. 12 seconds on the play clock. Myers takes the snap, looking downfield. He has time, steps up in the pocket, makes one man miss, and he's going to be brought down from behind at the 39.5. He'll lose a half a yard.
Did you notice, Brian, how the Tigers just kind of stayed in the lanes and waited for him to pop out of there? They have seen a lot of that tonight, and they weren't tricked that time. 3:20 on the running clock, and the Vikings trail 20-12 here in the fourth period of play.
Big 4th down, probably the ball game. 3 receivers to Virgil's left. Lawrence shifts back into the backfield. Snap back, looking to throw. Rolling to his left. Caught by Boyd. Did he stretch out and get the 1st down? They're going to mark him right at the yard to gain, Jeff. I think his knee might have bent down, Jeff, before he was able to stretch that across.
Parker Boyd making another big play out there on the edge, and you called it, Brian. He was trying, and they're going to give it to him.
Big break for the Vikings. I think Boyd was down about a yard shy as he went down to make that catch. Stretches out, and they're going to give him the 1st down. Break for the blue and white. 2:37 to go, clock turning. Shady 48 the football. Give us to D'Amico, coming near side, trying to turn the corner at 45. Still on his feet at the 42. Penalty flag in there, and then probably a block in the back, Jeff.
He got the edge, Brian, and he was trying to turn it up. He got stumbled just a little bit into his own player, which slowed him down, but it's going to be all for naught anyway. It's going to come back.
Block in the back from midfield, so that's a loss of 2, and so a 12-yard penalties, basically, as they mark it off from where the block was.
That one hurts.
Big time. So the Vikings way behind the line of scrimmage now. 1st and 22. Taking forever to get the play off. Vikings got to hurry up. 2:05 to go. Here's the snap. Myers, he'll throw. In and out of the hands of Caleb Parsons. It was thrown a little behind him.
Sure was, and if it hadn't been, it might have been a pick. Those linebackers were dropping back into that little hole between the safety and the defensive back, and he had to throw it like he was threading a needle that time, and just couldn't connect.
2nd and 22. Myers. Give is to Brown. He's got yards 45 across midfield. Bowls over a defender and falls down to the 46. That was a determined run by the senior.
Sure was. He gets back to just beyond the original line of scrimmage, Brian, at the 46-yard line.
Did anyone get the license plate number of that truck? Greenway on the stop, but he paid the price for it. 3rd and 8, manageable. 90 seconds remaining in the ball game. Snap back, Myers rolling near side, looking to throw in the flat. Caught by Hunter. And a tackle up around the neck. An awkward fall and a penalty flag flies on Davis, and that will be a Viking 1st down.
Davis is saying, I didn't face masking. What's the call? But it was a high tackle, bent Brown backwards over on the Viking sideline. Very dangerous play.
Officials gather. This will be huge for the Vikings if they're able to get this call. Personal foul, face mask the call. I don't think it was a face mask. I think it was the horse collar tackle, Jeff. But nonetheless, it is huge call against the Tigers.
Sure is. 1:22 to go. This game eerily reminds me of the Lincoln County game, except for we've got to make 8 instead of just a touchdown.
Penalty flag flies in. Viking sideline warning on Shady, which is just a warning. I don't know why we throw a flag for it, but
attention getter,
I assume. So 1:22 to go. D'Amico gets the call, turns it upfield, 25, still on his feet, down to the 23-yard line. That's a gain of 5. All 3 timeouts. Vikings will take one here.
Wow.
Let's check in with Phil as he's moved up here with us. We've been having issues all night. Phil, good to have you up here with us, and it'll be even better to hear you.
Well, let's see.
Phil, this is huge, man. The Vikings doing what they had to do defensively. Now they have an opportunity to punch one in the end zone, and they got to get the 2-point conversion.
Yeah, they're feeling a little demoralized there for a minute. We don't want to say that things shouldn't have happened out there, but just they got put in a tough spot there. And, we got lucky enough to recover that ball that almost put on the ground. This is it. This is like Jeff said. This is just like the Lincoln County game. We've got a little bit of momentum and a little help with the penalty, which is exactly what Lincoln County did for us. And we're coming up on a very important next couple of plays. So we get ourselves in the hands of the first. Those tires are especially both coverage tires are safe, fuel efficient, long-lasting tires that provide exceptional performance and extraordinary value. First tires with Shady Drive and Viking.
All right, Phil, thank you. And guys, is it out of school to signal down to the official and see if he'll put 3 more minutes on the clock? We do it at the end of the halftime break. Can we do it here?
I'll take it.
Myers gets the call right side. The Tigers hem it up. He'll get yardage to the 20, maybe 20 and a half. And a penalty flag flies in. Wow, who is this going to be on? This will be a massive call, one way or the other.
Yeah, and I think the way Shady Springs was reacting, it's going to be on the Vikings. 1:03 to go, and you run the ball up in there with Virgil, Brian. You do have a couple timeouts, but dangerous.
Oh, personal foul on the Vikings. Don't be the second guy.
Yeah, you're right.
You get caught with your hand in the cookie jar. if you're the second guy reacting to what the defender did to you, and I would imagine that's probably what happened in that instance, and that is a huge penalty.
You could hear even up in the press box one of the Viking fans yelling, "Call it both ways." So you're right, Brian. It happens so often. The second guy gets caught, and on the retaliation, and boy, moves the Vikings back to the 35-yard line. Second and 22. So
be second and 17 from the 35-yard line with 1:03 to go in the ball game, and the Vikings only one timeout remaining. And again, it's 20-12, so they will have to get the touchdown and the 2-point conversion to hopefully force what would be an overtime scenario. Third game of this series, and it's been the best one yet, Jeff. It's been blowouts on both sides in the two previous matchups. This has been a good game here tonight. Second and 17, Myers. Slant pattern caught by Boyd across the 25, still on his feet down to the 20. Got all that yardage back. It'll be third and short. Good pass, good catch, and a good run by Parker Boyd.
Sure was. Caught it with his hands, turned it upfield. Good short little slant pattern.
Vikings quick to the line. 42 seconds. Clock turning. Myers. He'll run near side. Turns it up at the 15 and takes a shot. Falls down to the 13.
It's going to be a first down, Brian, but there's only 35 seconds left here in the ball game as another timeout is called by the Vikings.
They got the first down, as you said, on the 7-yard gainer there by Virgil as he took a big shot. But you've put yourself in a situation now, Jeff, where you're close enough. You can take a couple of shots at the end zone here. And
you got no timeouts.
And, I don't think you can afford to run it here unless you got 2 plays called or you can get to the line quick enough to clock it.
Yeah, and the Vikings can get a first down without scoring. It would have been great if you could have gotten lined up quickly and just spiked it, not used that last time out for something special maybe at the end of the game. But you can't let the time run off, so you got to use that timeout, come up with a couple 3 plays here, and see if we can get it in the end zone.
20-12 the score. Vikings trail. They threaten at the Shady 14-yard line. Myers with 3 receivers to his left, D'Amico in the backfield, and Boyd the single receiver near side. Same pattern, in and out of the hands. High throw. Boyd couldn't pull it down, and it falls incomplete with 31.4 to go.
Parker was climbing the ladder, partner. He was trying to get there, and he's long and lean. He's kind of hard to overthrow, but trying to get the quick pass out there and get him in space.
Credit to Parker trying to make that play. He took a shot in the Oak Hill game that took him out of the football game and out of the next game. He's showing his toughness, making some catches over the middle. Clock stopped, 31.4 to go. Play clock at 10. Myers changes the play. Snap back, looking to throw. Same play, left side. He's got it, 5. 3 goes down at the 1. Clock will stop. 25.2 to go. Vikings quickly to the line. They're gonna snap it and clock it. Thought Parker was going to be able to get into the end zone, but he made a fantastic play, Jeff, to get himself to the 1, and the Vikings get to the line and spike it. And 23.8 to go.
And Brian, they made the first down. The official should have stopped it till they got the chain set. We wouldn't have had to rush through so much and burn that play.
So 23.8 to go. Vikings, second and goal from the 1-yard line, trailing by 8. Virgil in the gun, snap back, rolling near side, looking to throw. Low throw. Caught! Hunter Brown, the senior, scoops it from the shoelaces to make the catch. Now the Vikings are a 2-point conversion away from tying it up.
Lincoln County game, same play. Wasn't as wide open, had to make a tougher catch, but came up with it. Don't be surprised if you see the same play coming back here again, guys. That has been their bread and butter.
Well, this will be the ball game, folks. 19.5 to go. It's a 20-18 score. Shady will take a timeout. They'll have one remaining. Tell me this isn't big moment here for this Viking football team. Looking for a victory, Jeff, and it would be really nice to get one on senior night.
19 and a half seconds to go here in the ball game, but that doesn't really matter, Brian. You call it, this is the play of the game right here, 20-18. How important was that extra point kick by Shady Spring after that last touchdown?
Looming large right now.
I mean, what a game. This has been fun to watch. Vikings come out in the second half and really assert themselves on the offensive side of the ball, bring it right down the field and score. And it has been nip-tuck all night long. It looked like Shady was going to jump out here early at the beginning of this game and run away from the Vikings, but the Vikings persevere and hang tough. And this is the play that could tie it all up.
You get Virgil on the edge and give him the run-pass option. We'll see. Virgil in the gun. Two receivers to his right. Hunter Brown to his right. He's going to roll right, looking to throw. Got a man, got it! We're tied up! Parker Boyd! Great job by the Vikings getting a drive at the end of this ball game, tying it up with some big-time runs, some big-time catches, and some big-time throws. And we're 19 seconds away from overtime.
And Brian, how big was that procedure penalty on the Shady Spring punt that made him come back up the field and kick it again and gave us an opportunity to run it back and get even better field position to start this last drive? So,
that's the old
big plays on both sides.
That's the old hidden yardage stat, Jeff, and that was probably about a 20-yard hidden yardage total.
Sure was, man. I mean, they really came back into this thing and hung tough. And, old Mo is a strange thing, and the Vikings should have a little bit of that going in to the overtime if Shady doesn't do something crazy here.
Doesn't do the unthinkable here as Mason Gandy will kick it off. And deep to return for the Tigers. I believe that's Richmond. Low lining kick will be fielded at the 31. Across the 35, out to the 40. And out to the 41.
So 5 seconds run off the clock. There's 14.3 to go here in regulation. Green's got a big arm. Let's see what happens as they spot the ball at the 41-yard line.
Yeah, get deep, right, Jeff? Don't let him throw anything deep on you.
Looks like the Vikings going to that umbrella-type coverage with 4 defensive backs and the linebackers dropping off the line of scrimmage.
They have time and a timeout. They can throw it over the middle and get themselves in a situation where they can throw it in the end zone.
Motion penalty.
They jumped early. So legal procedure on the Tigers.
Trying to get off the line of scrimmage as quickly as possible. They're going to probably reset the clock.
Jeff, you got 13 seconds. You can get the ball to the 50 here. Get your timeout. You should have time to be able to throw one into the end zone if you're the Tigers. See what their plan is.
It's the old hook and ladder.
All kinds of confusion down there. Hook and ladder got the Vikings a couple of years ago down in Greenbrier East. I believe that was 2008. 14.3 they want to put back on the clock. So 3 receivers to Green's right, single receiver near side. One back in the backfield. We'll hand it off to Sellers. Nowhere to go. He'll be stacked up at about the 40. And they're going to be
content to go to overtime.
Go to OT, and that's what we will do. Extra frames here from Memorial Stadium on senior night. We'll step out overtime after this, tied at 20. More Viking football on C98. The Bull. Senior night, Jeff. I'm not even sure I know the rules in high school anymore. I think it's very similar to what college does. I think you get the ball at the 20 and everyone gets an opportunity.
It'll be interesting to see, you know, if the Vikings continue to go to the well with that pass play that they've used. They used it against Lincoln County. They used it for touchdown. They used it for two-point conversions. It really confuses the defense with all those backs crossing there. Maybe, you know, getting a little pick and getting somebody open. But as you said earlier in the game, a lot of teams use it. Doesn't get called very often. So it'd be an interesting overtime period here as this game was going by pretty quickly.
Well,
right?
It's untimed now, Jeff, so we don't have to worry about extra time being put on the clock at any point here in the overtime period.
Some scores of maybe interest for the Viking fans. Rome County 26, Doddridge 6 in the fourth quarter. They have extended the lead there. George Washington 25, Spring Valley 14, Huntington beats Cabell Midland 41-21, Hurricane 37, Riverside 7. The Redskins finally woke up, and Parkersburg South 23, Greenbrier East 2 in the third quarter.
So it appears the Vikings will have the football, and they will be trying to score on the end zone to our left. I think the Vikings won the toss and elected to take the football, and this is an opportunity to put a lot of pressure on the Shady offense as the Vikings will have it at the 20-yard line. If you can score first in this overtime scenario, Jeff, it puts a lot of pressure on your opponent.
It sure does, and I think the Vikings are feeling pretty good about the way the offense has been moving the football, and the defense has been playing much better. I mean, with the receiver going out for Shady, who also ran that, came in as quarterback too, and ran the football. It's changed their offense considerably also.
So the Vikings will have it first. Myers looks like a player late getting out there. That always will upset a coach. Here's Myers, handoff to Brown, right side. We get 3 to the 17.
He was in there digging, partner, trying to move the football forward. The first down markers do come into play here when you spot the ball on the 20. So, 2nd and 7.
That's Davis on the stop for the Tigers. Myers in the gun. Gives to Brown, left side this time. And he's going to be stacked up at the line, maybe a yard. Looks like they'll mark him right at the 17.
Shady right there. The Vikings go pretty conservative the first couple plays. Running Brown, he has found good running room throughout the night, and he's run very hard, the senior running back has.
So 3rd and 7, 4 down territory. 3 receivers to Myers' right, D'Amico to his right, single receiver near side. Ball at the 17. Vikings need 3 yards here on 3rd, or 7 yards here on 3rd down. Myers looking to throw, slant pattern. Diving attempt by Wyatt Simon, can't come up with it. 4th and 7 now.
So, big play is Wyatt and Virgil talking it over a little bit. He said, just get it down a little bit, and I'll make that catch for you.
They had what they wanted. It was man coverage on this side. Here's Myers again. He's rolling to his right, looking to throw. He'll reverse field, steps up, throw it into the end zone.
It's caught, I think.
Caught! Oh my goodness, what a catch! Vikings into the end zone off the deflection. Wyatt Simon. That ball was deflected by Parker Boyd, right?
I don't know if it was touched or not. He was behind both defenders and Boyd, and it got through all of them. I don't know how, but he made the catch.
So another senior on senior night making a huge play. So 2-point conversion here for the Vikings. Myers with one back in the backfield, rolling. He's going to run with it. Still on his feet, diving, lunging toward the goal line. Football loose. They're going to say 2-point conversion's good.
That ball was fumbled forward. I don't know if he'd crossed the plane. They're conversing about it now.
See if they reverse the call. They're not going to.
No, it's going to stand. I don't know if he got in, Brian. You couldn't tell by the way the scrum was in there. The ball came out. You know, in pro football, you can't do that and recover yourself. But they're saying the sideline judge over here was signaling touchdown, so Virgil must have got in.
Vikings 16 unanswered. Now lead at 28-20. And the Tiger offense will come out on the field. And they will, we talk about, Jeff, the pressure being on them now. Much like the Viking pressure was at the end of regulation, you got to score and get a 2-point conversion.
And you turn it over, the game's over, you don't get a first down or a touchdown to continue the drive, it's over. So, great play by Simon.
Green in the gun, looking to throw, steps up in the pocket. He's going to run with it. He'll put his shoulder down and plow forward to the 16.
And it's now or never time for Shady Springs, Brian, as the Vikings have come back with a fury and take the 28-20 lead. They trailed 20-12 late in the 4th period of play.
2nd and 6 now for the Tigers. Green barking out signals. He's got 2 receivers either side. Sellards in the backfield. Under pressure. He's looking to get a screen to Sellards, but he was under so much pressure.
And they're going to throw a flag for roughing the passer.
That's going to be...
Or is it going to be grounding?
He threw it right over the head of Sellards, so I believe this is going to be roughing the passer. Viking faithful not pleased with that call.
No, and... well, that'll give him first and goal.
So that's a half the distance.
The Vikes have to keep him out of the end zone.
That gives him first down at the 8. First and goal at the 8. 3 receivers now to Green's left. Single receiver to his right. Under pressure. Rolled out. Throws over into the far corner of the end zone. Pass is caught. That's Sellards. He got lost in that Viking defense. Wide open. Now a 2-point conversion ties it.
This is the interesting play now. Vikings lead 28-26. 2-point conversion. This is the ball game. If they score, we'll continue. If not, it's all over. and the Vikings would get a win here on senior night.
So Green with 3 receivers to his right now. Sellards in the backfield to his left. Single receiver to his left. Snap back, looking to throw into the flat. Stopped.
He didn't get to her.
Parker Boyd stops him short. Pass was caught. The junior with a big stop. And the Vikings win it 28-26.
I was shocked that Shady didn't throw it in the receiver didn't get into the end zone. And wow.
Let them celebrate win number 3 in overtime this year for the Vikings. 28-26, they win it. We'll step out. WVU Medicine, Jackson General Hospital. Post-game report after this, right here on C98, The Bull. Phil Lyman has Victoria's head coach Steve Sayer.
Coach, what a comeback.
That was pretty amazing, wasn't it? Praise the Lord. That was a miracle. That was a gift from God.
Coach, so many back and forths after halftime. You come out, you get the score that you needed, and then everything is back and forth. You thought we almost had it a couple times, so I thought we didn't have it. Well, what does it take for this team with everything that's been going on as far as a long season? What does it take for this team to be able to stay with the plan?
Well, I think the fans and the band helped us stay in there tonight because they were really loud. I think the seniors played their hearts out. And we've got some guys that, well, you know, Virgil's magic man. He makes things happen.
Did having the game be very similar to how the Lincoln County game ended make the guys believe that we could come out here and do that exact same thing again?
Yes, I think that definitely helped. It's not helping my blood pressure any, but it definitely is. When we're home and they know we can come back, that, you know, tell Brian we won another one after being behind at halftime.
Coach, and to do this on senior night with all the families here to support these kids, what does something like that mean for this program right now?
It's just great. Every game's a game, and this is a great game. We'll enjoy it for a little while and really enjoy it because they don't get any sweeter than that.
Coach, great job. We'll see you out here next week.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Phil. And he knows my stats, Jeff. At least I know he's listening anyway. So, what a win, man. I mean, gutty performance. You can't say it enough. Virgil Myers doing what he had to do to get them down the field. Some big play big play there, Jeff, from Parker Boyd. He had the 2-point conversion catch down here in the end zone to tie it up, and then he had the big stop on the other end in overtime. I mean, I would like to see that on replay, go home and watch this on Mountaintop. I'm betting you that was less than a half yard.
Well, it was, and he made some big catches down the stretch, and, Virgil was looking for him to make a play, and he did, and what a game, what a second half. The Vikings came into this game, Brian. I think we were very confident that we could get a win against this Shady Spring team. They had been struggling all year long, too. They had some injuries. They had some things just like we did. You said it in the pregame interview with the coach. These teams match up. They look about the same. And it proved to be true. Our kids really gutted it out there at the end of the ball game to pull the win out. Congratulations to them. Seniors, a great win on senior night. And, you just never give up as long as there's time on the clock. And these kids didn't quit. So, big win, 28-26, our final score here. The Vikings get the win. And I was just looking through scores. It looked like Point Pleasant might have got beat tonight.
Wow.
So
great. So, we're going to get a mad Point Pleasant team next week.
I don't know if we're going to get a mad Point Pleasant team. But they were playing Robert C. Byrd. 1916 was the final. They lost. So, Oak Hill got beat by Bluefield tonight, 34-14. But the Vikings win.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
A good night tonight. Everybody will sleep much better. The coaches, the players, the fans, everyone. They expelled a lot of energy tonight, and a big sigh of relief as the Vikings pull this one out.
Jeff, you can tell how much this means to the Viking faithful. My phone blowing up from text messages right now. Fans just excited. My family, friends. Happy Joe Parsons texting, excited. Our good buddy Tim Britton texting me, listening, tuning in from wherever he might be on Friday night. And, he and I aren't going to be able to talk next week because the Wildcats are going to square off with the Volunteers. But he and I will be friends once that game's over with. But, Tim, great to have you along listening tonight. But what a night. I mean, a great win in what has been a very difficult season. Jeff, there have been some moments in 2022 that you get that taste of the win. You start to feel good. You want it to happen more often. And it didn't happen enough last year. It's happened a couple more times this year. And these kids deserve it. They've worked hard.
And you talk about, Brian, things getting lost in all of the excitement. How important was that Ethan K. fumble recovery?
Oh,
They kept the ball in the hands of the Vikings. Shady Spring came out there signaling like they had the ball, but K rooted it out of there and kept the Vikings in possession to allow them to go down and get that score. So, wow, what a night.
It's a big win for the Vikings, 65 total plays. Jeff, and they did the majority of that in 3 quarters. They did not have the football, but for 3 plays in that first quarter before they had to punt it out of there, they end up carrying the football 46 times for 176 yards on the ground. Hunter Brown, 17 carries for 82. Virgil Myers, 18 carries for 77. Aiden D'Amico, 10 carries for 24. Parker Boyd led the Vikings in receptions, 4 for 50. Tonight, Virgil, 8 of 19 for 84 yards and 2 touchdowns. Hunter Brown, another touchdown receiving. And Wyatt Simon with the improbable catch in overtime to get the Vikings on the board. So seniors all over the place making big plays here tonight on senior night.
And, Brian, it was crazy. A crazy Friday night in West Virginia high school football. Here's a good one for you. Princeton 34, Bridgeport 29.
Wow.
I mean, Huntington beats Cabell Midland by 20, 41-21. Hurricane thumps Riverside, and Parkersburg South comes back and handles Greenbrier East by a score of 36-9. So going to be some shaking up out there in the rankings for sure at the top, and looks like in each and every division. So high school football Friday night, it doesn't get any better than that in the state of West Virginia.
Well, Jeff, we'll start to wrap it up here from Death Valley Memorial Stadium. A happy crowd down there playing on the field. The kids passing the football around, celebrating a Viking victory here tonight. Our next broadcast will be right back here. Final game of the 2022 season. The aforementioned Point Pleasant Black Knights will be in town, and they will be angry after coming off of a loss here this evening. The Vikings will look to build on the momentum that they garnered here tonight with a victory over Shady Spring. They take a 2-1 lead in the series, and they hold serve as the home team has won all 3 meetings in this series. That broadcast for Point Pleasant will be right here from Memorial Stadium. The WVU Medicine Jackson General Hospital countdown to kickoff will begin at 7. That game is slated to kick off at 7:30. Remember to tune back in to C98 tomorrow as Tony Caridi and his crew will begin their pregame from Lubbock, Texas at noon tomorrow. Tune in for that as the Mountaineers will take on the Texas Tech Red Raiders at 3. Thank you to all of our sponsors of Viking football on T98 The Bull. Special thanks to Rick Shannon, our station manager, and Jennifer Redmond for all of her hard work back at Viking Control. Your final score from Memorial Stadium, the Vikings 28, Shady Spring Tigers 26. For Phil Lyman and Jeff Waybright, I'm Brian Johnson. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great night. God bless.